Hey friend, thanks for being here, genuinely. If you're watching this, it means a lot to me. And if you feel like hitting that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. Let's get started. My name's Ethan Cole. I'm 30 years old and living in Denver, Colorado. Not long ago, I thought I had it all figured out. I was climbing the ranks at a respected logistics firm, owned a stylish condo in the heart of the city, and was in a long-term relationship with Vanessa Blake. Stunning, poised, with an energy that seemed to command any room she walked into. Vanessa had an impressive career in pharmaceutical sales and a natural flair for planning. Whether it was the newest tapas spot, the perfect wine pairing, or a trendy diet trend, she was always ahead of the curve. After 4 years together, 2 of those cohabiting, we were the couple others pointed to as relationship goals. And I truly believed that until one evening shattered that illusion completely. It was a Thursday, and Vanessa had invited her close friend Naomi over for dinner. A simple night, pasta, a few glasses of wine, and relaxed conversation. I stepped into the bathroom for a few minutes. The apartment's walls weren't particularly soundproof, so the sounds of clinking glasses and soft laughter drifted in. Then I caught Naomi's voice. "You're still doing it?" Vanessa's reply came with a chuckle. "Only when he's being difficult." I froze, hand gripping the bathroom doorknob. "What are you even using now?" Naomi asked. Vanessa's voice was casual. "Depends on the day. A crushed Ambien here, a beta blocker if he forgets something important. It keeps him calm, makes him stay, keeps him loyal." Naomi gasped. Vanessa laughed again. "It's like conditioning. He's easier to manage than any guy I've ever been with." Everything inside me seized up. I couldn't breathe. The dizziness, the nausea, the unexplained memory gaps, it all suddenly made sense. I had blamed stress, poor diet, even burnout. But this was something far more sinister. I walked out of the bathroom and joined them like nothing was wrong. I smiled, moved my fork around on my plate, played the part. Vanessa kept touching my wrist gently, checking if I was okay. I told her I was just tired. That night, when she fell asleep, I grabbed my keys and drove straight to the ER. At the reception desk, I looked the nurse dead in the eye and said, "I think I've been drugged," repeatedly. At first, she looked uncertain. Then she saw my face and nodded. They ran toxicology tests immediately. Blood, urine. The results came back. Elevated levels of zolpidem, the active compound in Ambien, in my system, enough to impair coordination and cognition. The doctor didn't mince words. "This was administered recently." Within 24 hours, I called my older brother Mason, a brilliant lawyer with zero tolerance for bullshit. His advice was crystal clear: get out, tonight. Don't wait. I checked into a hotel, called in sick, and went dark for a few days. Soon after, I got connected with Detective Elena Ruiz, precise, no nonsense, and sharp as they come. She believed me, but she laid it out. "We need a confession, something admissible. That's the only way we can act." So I went back to the apartment while Vanessa was away. I hid my phone and started recording. When she returned, I acted casual. "Hey babe, I've been feeling off again, like after that anniversary dinner." She raised an eyebrow. "Yeah?" I gave her a playful grin. "You didn't slip anything in the food again, did you?" She let out a soft laugh, hesitant this time. "You're being dramatic," she said. Later, I searched the bathroom. Deep behind boxes and bottles, I found them. Tampered capsules, unlabeled white powders, prescription bottles under different names, some hers, others labeled under her mother's name. I took pictures of everything. Then I walked out. Ruiz moved fast. The lab confirmed it. Zolpidem, propranolol, a mix of drugs designed to sedate and manipulate. With that evidence, a warrant was issued. 3 days later, Vanessa was arrested at work, right in the middle of a presentation. Her face went blank, ghost pale, as her co-workers stared. A few filmed the whole thing. The press hadn't caught the story yet, but I knew it wouldn't stay buried for long. That night, she called me from the jail phone. "Ethan, this is ridiculous. I never drugged you. Maybe it's an allergy or your mind playing tricks. Ever thought of that?" I ended the call, but she wasn't done. Her parents bailed her out, $50,000. When I returned to the apartment, it looked like a war zone. My clothes soaked in bleach, my computer monitor shattered, my console destroyed. Sitting on the table, a perfectly cooked steak, rosemary butter, garlic mashed potatoes. Beside it, a note. "Made with love, always, V." Ruiz was furious. "She just violated the restraining order. New charges are going on the file." I felt hollow. But beneath the emptiness, something darker began to grow. Not sadness, not fear, vengeance. The medical bills started rolling in. My cardiologist linked the irregular heart rhythms to extended beta blocker use. My GI doctor concluded that chronic exposure to laxatives was behind my stomach issues. My body had been turned into a weaponized playground for her control. Mason built the case methodically. He labeled it for what it was, a long-term campaign of covert domestic abuse. We decided to pursue a civil suit, not for money, but for accountability. Then Naomi called in tears. "Ethan, she's done this before." She revealed that Vanessa's ex, Drew, had gone through something eerily similar. Constant illness, unexplained fatigue. Vanessa told everyone he had Crohn's disease. But once they broke up, he miraculously recovered. I asked Naomi why she never told anyone. "I thought she was joking," she said quietly. "She used to joke about slashing her ex's tires. I assumed it was just dark humor." Naomi gave me Drew's number. He picked up after 3 rings. "If this is about Vanessa," he said flatly, "run." He didn't hold back. "She nearly ruined me. I dropped weight like crazy. Thought I was dying. She'd make soup, tea, always acting like the loving girlfriend. But I was too dizzy to drive, too weak to work. Doctors blamed anxiety." His words echoed my own experience. Mason added his statement to our growing evidence pile. Vanessa's attorney, Carl Maddox, was slick, cold, and eerily polished. He released a statement painting her as the victim. She was in a toxic relationship, he claimed. Her behavior was a misguided cry for help. His angle? That I was the controlling one, and because I traveled often for work and wasn't glued to my phone. They even floated the idea that she'd acted in self-defense. My rebuttal? I submitted proof of a vasectomy I'd undergone 2 years prior, a fact I'd never told her. Why? Because after her arrest, she announced she was pregnant with my child. But biologically, that wasn't possible. We had mutually agreed to not have children. I just hadn't mentioned that I'd taken the step myself. When her team realized the lie wouldn't hold, Maddox pivoted again. "She's a traumatized woman, abandoned by a deceitful partner," he claimed. But the real father was a married cardiologist she'd met at a medical sales conference in Vegas. He relinquished all rights and cut ties. Even then, her parents weren't done. They showed up at my mother's house, shouting, pounding on the door, blaming me for ruining their daughter's life. They called me heartless, accused me of ending the life of their future grandchild. I was left with no choice but to seek a restraining order. They violated it, not once, but 3 separate times. Ruiz eventually set up a surveillance camera outside my apartment. I had the locks changed twice. Each night became a ritual of checking: fridge, oven, window latches. My therapist labeled it hypervigilance. I called it survival. But I wasn't just enduring. I was planning. Vanessa assumed she could break me, that I'd crumble beneath the pressure. What she didn't understand was how completely I could disconnect once the love was gone. I partnered with Mason on the civil suit, but I was upfront from the beginning. I wasn't just after a legal victory. I wanted exposure. I wanted her secrets dragged into the light. We unearthed her university transcripts, located 2 former partners. Both had submitted complaints to campus safety. The same pattern every time: sudden health problems, relationships ending abruptly. No investigations, no consequences. Just a history no one bothered to link together. That's when Mason gave me a look I hadn't seen before. "Let's not just beat her," he said. "Let's end this." 8 months. That's how long it took to get to court. 8 months of delays, obstructions, and her lawyer exploiting every loophole in the book. Then came the bitter February morning. I stood outside the courthouse, coat zipped to my chin, my brother quietly at my side. Vanessa arrived dressed like she was attending a baby shower, floral dress, hair braided, belly clearly showing. But beneath the polished appearance, I saw it. The panic she was trying to hide. She wasn't battling to win. She was desperate to survive. The courtroom fell quiet as the prosecutor rose. "You'll hear about medications," she said, "about deception, and about a man whose trust was weaponized." Everything came out. My 17 emergency room visits over 2 years. The toxicology reports. An audio clip where Vanessa avoided answering but never denied anything. Images of hidden pills. Financial statements showing she'd bought empty capsules 6 times over 2 years. Then came the witnesses. Jenna, once her best friend, struggled through tears as she admitted hearing Vanessa make a joke about training me like an obedient pet. Drew, an ex-boyfriend, testified via video from Oregon. He described symptoms identical to mine. "I thought I was just unlucky," he said. "Turns out I was dating someone who thought she was smarter than medicine." Even a campus officer took the stand. 2 men. Same stories. Vanessa's behavior wasn't a fluke. It was a blueprint. When it was my turn, she wouldn't look at me. During cross-examination, her attorney asked, "Why didn't you report any of this sooner?" "I needed evidence," I said. "No one believed me for 2 years. I was tired of being told I was making it all up." "You secretly recorded her, didn't you?" "Yes," I said, "in my own home. And under state law, one person's consent is all that's required." He kept pushing, implying I'd fabricated the whole thing, that I was seeking revenge because of the pregnancy. Mason passed the prosecutor a file at that moment. My vasectomy records. That shut everything down. And then, without warning, Vanessa took the stand. Her attorney looked stunned. Clearly not part of the plan. She raised her right hand, then scanned the courtroom with wide, trembling eyes. "Ethan suffers from anxiety," she said softly. "He didn't want help. I work in pharmaceuticals. I knew what would ease his stress. I never wanted to hurt him. I just wanted peace." The prosecutor's voice turned sharp. "You administered beta blockers without telling him? They regulate heart rate. You gave him Ambien? He had insomnia. You also gave him laxatives? His digestion wasn't right. You combined all 3? I measured carefully. I knew what I was doing. "Did Ethan ever agree to any of this?" "No, but he improved afterward." "Did he feel better the day he collapsed? When his heart almost stopped?" Vanessa's hands shook. Her voice cracked. "I didn't mean to. He needed me. He was mine." The room went still. Not a sound. Then the toxicologist delivered the final blow. The combination of those drugs given consistently over time wasn't just reckless. It was deliberate. "Could this have killed him?" the prosecutor asked. "Yes, without a doubt." The trial lasted 4 days. The jury needed 6 hours to decide. Guilty. 2 counts of first-degree assault. 1 for tampering with consumer products. 1 for stalking. Several for violating the restraining order. Vanessa didn't cry. She stared me down with pure contempt. But her parents unraveled. Her mother shrieked. Her father turned to the jury, shouting, "You've just sentenced a pregnant woman to death." Security removed them. At sentencing, the prosecutor requested 15 years. The defense asked for 5. Vanessa stood and gave a statement. That's when the last of her mask fell away. "I'm not sorry," she said. "Ethan was damaged. I fixed him. He loved me most when he was weak. I made him better. I made him mine." The judge didn't blink. "You've shown no remorse. You admitted what you did. You are a danger." Her sentence, 12 years. Eligible for parole. Eligible for psychiatric treatment. I should have felt safe. I should have felt closure, but I didn't. Because even inside a cell, she refused to let go. 3 weeks after sentencing, the first letter arrived. No return address, just my name. I never opened it. But the smell, vanilla and sandalwood, hit me instantly. Once a comfort, now it turned my stomach. Legally, my lawyer said, the letters weren't threats. Keep them, he advised. They're evidence for the civil trial, proof of obsession, so I kept everyone, locked them in a drawer. 10 came that first month, 17 the next. She was incarcerated but still managed to reach into my life. The civil case lacked drama, no jury, just documents and depositions. I sued for everything: hospital bills, therapy, lost wages, emotional fallout. Vanessa had only $3,000 and a leased BMW. Her parents filed for bankruptcy. The insurance company refused coverage. Intentional crimes weren't protected. Mason kept pushing. We secured liens on any future assets she might ever have. The court awarded me $247,000 in damages. I knew I'd never see what happened afterward. But that didn't matter. The critical thing was this: her record, criminal and civil, was finally public, exposed, irrevocable. Then came an unexpected revelation. The cardiologist, a married man, a father. And, as it turned out, the biological father of Vanessa's unborn child. He was drawn into the civil proceedings through a court-issued subpoena. His name was Dr. Henry Carlisle, a licensed physician with a solid reputation, living in Nevada with his wife and 2 children. After Vanessa's arrest, he tried to disappear quietly. But Mason's legal team tracked him down. He wanted nothing to do with our lawsuit. But once his name surfaced in court, word reached the hospital board. They promptly suspended his medical license, citing his failure to report his connection to a live criminal case. His wife? She wasted no time. She filed for divorce almost immediately. Whatever hope people pinned on the child, that she might be a symbol of redemption, fell short. The baby was born regardless, a girl, perfectly healthy. She cried. She breathed. She was real. Vanessa's parents took custody and quickly began shaping their narrative. They portrayed Vanessa as a misunderstood woman, a victim of circumstance, someone who simply tried to help a damaged man who then abandoned her. Her mother even launched a blog. Titles included things like, "My daughter, my hero." She accused me of manipulating the trial, made me out to be a deceitful, cold-hearted liar who had betrayed and entrapped her daughter. My inbox flooded with anonymous backlash. "She's a mother. You ruined lives." But they missed the point. She ruined mine first. That was the moment Mason and I agreed. It had gone too far. We hired a private, professional PR agency. Quiet, precise, strategic. They compiled everything: hospital records, police files, toxicology reports, audio recordings, sworn statements. Together, we published a personal essay on Medium. The title, "The Woman Who Loved Me Sick." Within days, the piece went viral, over 50,000 reads. A journalist picked it up. Then a popular podcast ran the story. Suddenly, Vanessa's name was everywhere. The blog vanished. The hate mail stopped. Her parents? Embarrassed and cornered. They changed the child's last name and moved. But by then, it didn't matter. The truth has a gravity of its own. I thought I'd feel triumphant. I didn't. Not fully. Because trust doesn't rebuild overnight. Every new connection I tried to make followed a familiar cycle: hesitation, withdrawal. I couldn't eat food unless I'd watched it being made. I locked my bedroom door 3 times before I could sleep. Vanessa stayed with me, in a waitress's smile, in a stranger's laugh, in my dreams. My therapist called it complex PTSD in layman's terms. A mind constantly on high alert, scanning for threats. She wasn't wrong. Then Naomi reached out. Again. She'd been in therapy too, said she needed closure, needed to apologize, in person. We met at a quiet cafe. I picked the place. Open kitchen. Transparent walls. I watched my food from start to finish. Naomi looked tired, but she looked honest. I enabled her, she said. I let out a small laugh, half disbelief, half habit. I'd assumed it was sarcasm, but I should have known better. Naomi was always steps ahead, always calculating. I listened, then asked, "Why didn't you say anything when she was arrested?" Her eyes dropped to the floor. "Because admitting it would have meant accepting what that made me," she said softly. "That I watched it all happen and stayed silent." She cried. I didn't, but I told her I appreciated the truth, even if it came far too late. That night I walked home alone through fresh snow. I looked up. The city lights bounced off the clouds like restless spirits. Vanessa was locked away, but echoes of her lingered. That's when I understood what I had to do. I took a week off work and flew to Oregon to visit Drew. We stayed in a cabin near a calm lake, two men who'd weathered the same storm. "I read your piece," he said. "It helped me explain things to my wife." We stayed up talking deep into the night. He'd found someone, built something safe, moved beyond the pain. "You'll get there too," he told me. "Just don't rush it. Heal loud, live louder." 3 months after the article made waves, a letter arrived from Vanessa's lawyer. It wasn't a lawsuit or demand for damages. It was a request. Vanessa wanted to see me, in prison, not to argue, not to justify, just to find closure before her parole hearing. I ignored it for a week, then another. But something inside refused to let it rest. Not curiosity, just a need to close the chapter on my terms. So I went. The prison was sterile and humming with fluorescent light. A guard led me to the visiting room. She was already there, sitting, hands folded, uniform crisp, hair pulled back, thinner, still performing. "Ethan," she said, almost smiling, "you look good." I didn't respond. I sat down. Let the silence stretch between us. "I just wanted to talk," she said eventually, "like adults. I wasn't well back then, but motherhood changed me." I nearly laughed. "You drugged me for 2 years, Vanessa. That's not illness. That's manipulation with a smile." She flinched. "I never wanted to hurt you." "You did," I said. "You laced my food when I made you angry. You smiled while poisoning me and called it love." She leaned in. "You needed me." I stood, calm, in control. Number I needed healing, and I found it. "This story you keep trying to reshape, it's not yours anymore." Her expression hardened. "You destroyed me." "No," I said. "You destroyed yourself. I just held up the mirror." I turned and walked away. I didn't look back. That night I deleted her number, blocked the prison's contact line, and rented a storage unit. I packed away every trace of her, photos, transcripts, unopened letters, a clean break. 1 year later I met someone. Her name was Claire, a school teacher, kind, mindful. She always checked if I was okay before holding my hand. On our third date, I told her the truth. Not every chapter, but enough. She didn't flinch. She reached across the table and held my hand. "I've never lived through something like that," she said. "But you did. And you're still here." My therapist calls it resilience. I call it finally being able to breathe again. The last time I saw Vanessa's name, it was on a parole board report. Denied. She wasn't ready. Maybe she never will be. And that's okay, because I am. This is where our story ends. Feel free to share your thoughts below. Thanks for listening. If this story resonated, there's more where it came from. Until next time.